Hello, my name is Vedaste Mugisha. I'm a Kepler Kisiva student and I'm taking healthcare management in communication at Southern New Hampshire University through Kepler program. So in this video, I'll be answering different questions in a project called World Health Oris under goal called Foster Community Health. So the following are the questions and the answers regarding the health, specifically in terms of Ebola and other health issues like tobacco. Here are those questions and answers.
First question. Global health seems to be in the news more and more in recent years. Talk about what global health is and what is important to pay attention to it.
Thank you very much. This is a very good first question. So global health is an area for study, research, and practice that places in a priority on improving health and achieving in health for all people worldwide. So also the global health is emphasizing on the problem which is happening, the cause of the problem, and also the solution for that problem. Thank you very much.
Our second one. Disease can come to us in different ways. Explain the difference between communicable and non-communicable diseases.
Well, so communicable diseases are those diseases which can be spreaded or which can be transmitted to each other easily. Non-communicable diseases are those diseases which cannot be transmitted. For instance, HIV/AIDS is a communicable disease because people with HIV/AIDS which make some sexual intercourse which is not protected, he can easily transmit or spread that HIV/AIDS to anyone else, which means is communicable disease. That's an example. Another example of non-communicable disease is, for instance, cancer. You can't spread cancer to anyone else. This means cancer is non-communicable disease. Thank you so much.
Our next question. Let's talk about Ebola. Since I'm sure most of our viewers have heard a lot about that, what is it? Is it communicable or uncommunicable? How do people get it?
Thank you very much. So Ebola is a virus which is rare and deadly disease, most commonly affecting people and non-human primates. Saying non-human primates, here I can give you an example of monkey, gorillas, and maybe chimpanzee. So Ebola is a spreaded disease, and as the question said, is communicable disease. This is because if I have Ebola, for instance, and I touch to someone and my fluid goes to someone who don't have Ebola, in that case I will immediately transmit Ebola to that person. So here, in the other question that you asked, how does Ebola how can people get Ebola? So people can get Ebola in case they see more unusual fever, body itches, and diarrhea on themselves. Sometimes they can see themselves spreading inside their body or outside their body. So those are how people can get Ebola. If, for instance, people are getting diarrhea, are getting fever, are getting body itches, and are getting breathing inside or outside their body, they can those are the signs that can make them see that they have Ebola. Thank you.
Also, Vedaste, what would lies a person's risk of getting Ebola?
A very good question. So a risk of getting Ebola is very low for the most people. But so if you have a risk of having Ebola in case you are going in different places where there is Ebola. So specifically, if I could be more specific, I can say that if someone had a direct contact with blood or maybe body fluid for the person who has Ebola, he or she will immediately get Ebola. If someone touched the birds or non-human primates like apes, monkey, or some blood or fluids of those animals, he will get Ebola. Also, if you get in the hospital where the patient of Ebola are and you are not fully protected, in that case, you will get Ebola. Those are some of the things which can make people to get on the high risk of getting Ebola. Thank you.
So to prevent or at least lessen that chance of getting Ebola, what should people do?
A very good question. If people need to prevent maybe Ebola, they need to do different things and avoid many things. The first, people need to avoid areas of known outbreaks. This means if you know maybe in the place A there is Ebola and you live in a place B, avoid a place A, because in that place through those people, maybe you greet the people, maybe you interact with those people, maybe you have the relationship, you need to avoid that place so that you cannot be contaminated with Ebola. In addition, wash your hands frequently. This is another point. So make sure that you wash your hands frequently, because Ebola is mostly transmitted or contaminated with those people who used to greet each other using hands. They used to have like they used to have those hand hashing in themselves so that they can avoid Ebola. Also, avoid contact with infected Ebola. I think I tried to talk about this, but I can talk about a little bit. If someone have Ebola and they're trying to have some relationship with the person, so surely, definitely, absolutely, you will get that Ebola. Finally, you need to avoid bush meats. So if maybe you get a monkey, which is dead, and you like meats and you need to eat those meats of monkey, so avoid eating those bush meat, because you don't know, like with that animal, like something which killed the animal. So avoiding those bush meats, those are something that people need to do, and other several things that they need to do to avoid Ebola. Thank you.
Outbreaks such as the one related to Ebola can generate a lot of rumors and misinformation and even panic about what the disease is. How is it transmitted and how likely people are to get it?
Interesting question. This is a very tricky question, because different people are understanding, maybe they have fever and maybe they listen to the radio or maybe to the television news that fever is one of the cause of, of the signs of the Ebola. And people are like, because I have fever, this means I have Ebola. And maybe people, the community can discriminate, saying that this person have Ebola and we don't need to be attacked by Ebola. So people need to be careful and avoid those rumors. So to make sure that someone has Ebola, we need to see several signs. Fever is not only the sign. There is different sign. And like getting the direct contact with blood is one of the sign. Touch the birds or non-human primates is another sign. So people need to see different signs so that they can conclude that someone has Ebola or not.
Vedaste, how about the complication that Ebola lies for the lives of travelers and the responsibilities of government? Hack Hickox, for example, a nurse from Maine who returned to the state following a trip to Western Africa in the fall of 2014, prompt had the violently related to restriction through open up or restriction that she was very much against. Briefly describe the difficulties of balancing individual rights and governmental responsibility.
Well, a very good question. So Ebola is bringing us different consequences and complications. The right to people to travel in different countries is getting raw, because the government is restricting people to go in different countries so that they can't bring Ebola in their countries. So this is the government's responsibility. They need to take care of their people and maybe avoid those people who are getting outside of the country. For instance, in our country, in Rwanda, they are closing the border so that people can't go in DRC, a country which has Ebola in nowadays. So this is a very good decision for the government, because they are preventing people to come up with Ebola from DRC. I mean, Democratic Republic of Congo. This is a very good decision. So people need to balance. What they're going to search in the other country maybe is life, jobs, or maybe visits. But they will bring something which will kill them, their family, and other in the whole country. So people, they need to balance and see. Government is restricting us not because our enemies, but it is because they love the country and they don't need those consequences of Ebola to come in their country. Positive thinking, being optimist, is one of the things which can help the government and also the population to avoid misunderstanding on that question. Thank you so much.
Oh, let's talk about smoking and tobacco use, which is considered as a big World Health Program and raises similar issues to Ebola in terms of rights and responsibility. Just about everyone knows that smoking harm health. What does it do their body?
Well, Smoking or tobacco is something which is very not necessary to the human being. People are getting different consequences on their body because of smoking. Let's talk about circulation. When you smoke, the poison from the tar is in your cigarette enter your blood. There's prisons in your blood then make your blood thicker and increase chances of clot formation. Also, it increases your blood pressure and heart rate, making your heart more harder than normal. So let's talk about stomach. Smokers have an increased chance of getting stomach cancer or an cancer. So if someone is smoking, can smoke, taking tobacco, like she or he can have a more chance of getting, it's not chance, but chance of getting stomach cancer. Those are some of the consequences on body. Let's talk about the skin. Smoking reduces the amount of oxygen that get to your skin. So you can see that smoking has the impact on human body. Thank you so much.
Oh, great, Vedaste. What about the second-hand smoke? Explain what does it and how it affects people.
Well, so like smoking is not affecting only the people who are smoking. Also, the second-hand smoking are getting affected. For instance, the effect of second-hand smoke include ear infections in children, more frequent and severe asthma attacks in children, heart disease and lung cancer in adults who have never smoked. There is no safe amount of second-hand smoke. Even low level of it can be harm. This means it doesn't matter how much second-hand smoker get of smoking. No matter how much, something small can harm their body. Thank you so much.
Oh, great, Vedaste. People don't typically think of tobacco as a drugs like heroin and cocaine,
Yeah.
but the addiction it creates a strong. Is it? Should we think of tobacco use as a form of substance abuse?
A good question. And absolutely yes. Most smokers use tobacco because they are addicted. Most of the time, in case they are in negative health consequence, they also need to smoke, which is not good. Imagine someone has negative health consequences and they need to smoke. They need to smoke. This means how much is someone become addicted. So the majority of smokers would like to stop smoking, and each year about half try to quit permanently. Yet only about 6% of the smokers are able to quit in a given year. Most smokers will need to make multiple attempts before they are about to quit permanently. Medications including varenicline and some antidepressant and nicotine replacement therapy can help in many cases. So you can see that the statistics are showing that people are trying to quit smoking, but they're not able to smoke. So they're becoming addictive. So they need to quit and start the new life without smoking. Thank you.
So thank you for talking to us, Vedaste.
So thank you very much.